Hi everyone, Trista McIver here, Program Advisor with AMC NPO Solutions. Today on the podcast, we will be talking about board management software. We find that not-for-profits spend a lot of time planning and organizing their meetings. Besides organizing meetings, they also need somewhere to keep commonly used files that can be accessed by everyone. I'm sure that many of you, if not all, have wanted a bit more help with organizing your board. I have invited Meghan Day, the Senior Director of Board Management Experience at Diligent, on the podcast today. Meghan will give us an insight into why more nonprofits are turning to board management software and the benefits of using it. Welcome, Meghan. Can you tell us a bit more about your role at Diligent and what you are responsible for?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show today, Trista. So my role at Diligent, I guess I'll back up a little bit. If you're not familiar with Diligent, we are the world's leading provider of governance management and board management technology. In fact, we work with over 650,000 board members and governance professionals of organizations, all shapes and sizes around the globe. And my role in particular is to work with board members to equip them with the right tools to be effective in their day-to-day job as it relates to the board, and relay that back to marketing and product and sales inside Diligent so we can help create better tools for our end users.
Perfect. So why do many nonprofits look for a board management software?
Yeah, it's so interesting. For us, we fundamentally believe that good governance matters, no matter what type of organization it is, whether it's a nonprofit, startup, Fortune 50 company. And I think at the core of that is we believe you have to have the right information at the right time to make the right decisions. And technology can play a huge role in that. Mm-hmm. And we really got started because we helped digitize all the important aspects of board governance. And that's, from the distribution of materials to voting to minute taking. And nonprofits have really, I think, been able to make their board processes more sophisticated and robust, and have their board members be able to add more value to the work that they're doing through technology like this. Using a tool such as Diligent or in the board management space, generally speaking, helps eliminate, outdated, painstaking paper processes for sort of first and foremost. If you think about, back to even 10 years ago, and there's probably still plenty of nonprofits out there today printing off paper and distributing it at their board meetings and things like that. There's tons of benefits that can be gained both for the board and the team that helps support the board. Particularly around improving processes. It helps manage last minute changes so much more easily, helps improve board communication in terms of access to information and being able to do that anytime, anywhere, from any device, and be able to collaborate with your board peers. And then if security is concerned as well, a lot of organizations are still sending emails to Gmail accounts and Yahoo and things like that. And that is totally fine for everyday conversation and keeping folks up to date on logistics. But if you're sharing sensitive information or personal information, financial information, you probably want to think about how that's being distributed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. Now, you mentioned regarding a little bit back there in your conversation about minutes.
Yes.
And I guess also with making the meetings a little bit easier. Can you explain how that might work?
Absolutely. So I think a great board management software helps take every process from start to finish from a board meeting and tries to make it more efficient through technology. And minute taking is a great example. Historically, you may have pulled out a piece of paper and taken notes on the fly, or maybe you pull up a Word document. But if you're able to use a board management system that has minute taking capabilities, you can sort of do that in a one-stop shop. So you can do that based on agendas that you've already created for the meeting. So taking minutes directly inside the application. And then from there, you're able to do things like assign action items and push those out to members of the board or folks on different committees, and then follow up and have a built-in workflow right there. And then if you need to distribute the minutes or get approval from other members of the board, maybe before publishing the minutes out, you can sort of do that again in sort of a nice closed loop system. It gives a nice centralized container for everybody involved in the process.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds good, because I've heard just chatting with the not-for-profits that the challenges they find is the actions. So
absolutely, absolutely
put forth, but nobody's taking action on the action.
Exactly. It's a chronic meeting problem for sure. Yeah. There's always lots of great ideas, but how do you keep everybody on task and focused and following up with what they said they were going to do?
Yeah, exactly. So what other tools does board management software do to help with governance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most common things is around voting and written consents. So it's great, a great way if you need to take votes sort of on the fly or when folks are not in person.
Right.
And you can do that completely electronically and manage that process from start to finish. But also too, if you need to capture signatures from board members as well, the way you would think about something like a DocuSign or a virtual signature capture that you might be familiar with. Again, being able to push out that document or material that needs a signature directly through the software, have someone sign from wherever they are on their phone, on their iPad, and send it right back to you. So you don't have to worry about fax machines and things like that are still very, very commonly used.
I'm just kidding. We still have a fax at
our house. They're still around.
Not a rotary phone anymore. So are there any other problems that you think that I haven't addressed at all that the software solves?
Well, I think it really comes down to the improved sort of efficiencies that you would be able to find in other parts of the board meeting process, because you're using this technology and you're not focused on some of these little one-off things. You can actually spend time being strategic in meetings, clearing up additional time and resources to focus on other things, serving your members, serving your community more effectively, rather than, wasting an entire day trying to track down people and capturing signatures, for example.
Right. Now, I just remembered something that an executive director had mentioned. He said, it's very frustrating when the minutes have gone in an email to the directors and we're at the board meeting and they're not reading, they haven't read them yet.
Yes.
Is there something like, maybe I should be a software developer, but where they can read it and then tick that they've read it?
So
is there something like that on?
Not on our particular software. It's interesting you say that though, and there are other things, particularly around like message sharing, that would be able to do something like this. That's definitely, it's a chronic problem, and sometimes that's a problem that can't necessarily be solved by technology, in the sense that it does, involve a little bit of leadership and perhaps tough conversations too, if folks aren't reading things.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes it's easier to sort of be a little more passive aggressive and help technology sort of nudge things along.
I suggested to one executive director, I said, have a prize system. We're
first person to respond.
They're CEOs. Whatever. Everybody likes a prize. Whoever read the minutes gets a prize. I don't know.
Well, and that's the good thing about having a centralized solution, is that it's all right there. No matter where you are, you can pull it up on your phone from wherever you are. It used to be that you had to log into a secure website or pull out your iPad. And at this point, pretty much everyone is on their phones pretty regularly. And if you're not, I think you might be lying.
Yeah.
So to be able to do things like that, especially minutes, more summary documents, things like that, it's definitely so much easier to do on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So could you tell me why not-for-profits would choose Diligent as their board management software?
Absolutely. So we have been in the space for pretty much the longest period of time of any other software provider that even touches the governance space. So we started actually in 2001 and have been purpose built to support the work of boards. And it's the only thing that we do. We have over 1,000 employees around the world. And as I mentioned before, we work with organizations of all shapes and sizes. We have, I don't want to say at this point thousands of customers in Canada, but we might be approaching that for sure. We have about 15,000 customers around the world, but we have a pretty healthy presence in North America, generally speaking. And because of the longevity of the company and the good fortune that we've had in terms of our growth, we're constantly putting money back into the development of the product and putting out new features and functionality that are really specifically designed to help boards and teams that support boards be more effective. That's our number one priority.
Perfect. So where could our viewers learn more?
Yeah, you can check out diligent.com for all sorts of information. And if you're interested too, we have tons of thought leadership and content specifically for nonprofits. You can go to insights.diligent.com and there's lots of great articles and resources there too.
Great, thank you so much. And the information will be in our notes as well. And thank you, Meghan, for joining us today. It's been
my pleasure.
Some great learning experiences here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. Well, have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Take care. Stay safe.
Oh, you too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, okay, take out that eye scratch. Okay. Just be patient. Do you have a drink?